$80 games. Many find them problematic, whether it's due to the current $80 games not being worth $80 to most, or because of the possibility of further price hikes in the future. A vocal group on the internet is rallying against these prices. Though, unfortunately, not only are the $80 games being kept at $80, but more games are being listed at that price. Recently, Xbox announced a price hike on everything: controllers, $100 on the system, games being $80. The only company left to raise their prices to 80 is Sony. And recently they raised the price of PlayStation Plus, so clearly they're not against price increases. Now, from my perspective, it looks as though everything in gaming is getting more expensive, which, not coincidentally, is happening at the same time as economic circumstances that I have seen many compare to the Great Depression. Of course, this is a problem, but is it as big of a deal as the internet would make it seem? I personally don't think so. Now, of course, the Switch 2 pre orders sold out. They sold out when they started. Now, of course, you have to still factor in scalpers into that sellout, but even many in-store locations were sold out, which scalpers aren't getting there because it's only one each. Now, as somebody who did get a Switch 2 pre-order, in my opinion, the reason I got the pre-order was because I am excited for the system and I don't feel taken advantage of or scammed with the price increases. Now, I understand why some people are of the opinion that $80 is too much for any game. I personally don't think like that, though. I play video games for many, many hours, right? For example, I have 400 hours in Elden Ring, 450 in Persona 5, 350 in Breath of the Wild, right? And those are just examples. And because of this, I feel like I got my money's worth and then some, right? And that isn't even accounting for the possibility of replaying these games in the future. I have no memory of ever buying a game and regretting it. Every time I buy a game, I feel like I either get my money's worth or I just haven't played it yet, right? Now, of course, there's examples where I play a game and it's like, I could have gotten more out of it, but then I go and replay it another time, right? Because the game was still good enough that I would just want to play it again, or just wasn't a long game. Games like Mario Wonder, that was a $60 game. I beat it within one day. The day it came out, I beat the game. I still felt like I got a lot of value out of it because then I replayed it. And it's so easy to just go back and replay it again and again and again. Now, I'm of the opinion that video games have always actually been very cheap. Like they're one of the cheaper forms of entertainment. I think the only thing that beats it is TV subscription services, because those are only like $10 a month, or at least they used to be. But wow, they always sucked because you never find anything enjoyable. But now the prices have been ballooning. I don't even want to know what Netflix costs nowadays, but I will never pay it. Now, of course, I mentioned time earlier for the value I get in a game, which time isn't the best indicator. It's not like an end all be all indicator for value. But for the games I listed earlier, right? Elden Ring, Persona, Breath of the Wild, it works because the games were that good, right? Now, to take an example of another form of media, there's books. Books tend to cost like around $10. I don't know American pricing, because I'm Canadian, but here they cost more than $10, but I assume in America it's a little less, but let's just say $10. And I get about 6 or 7 hours out of a book. right? And I'm much less likely to reread a book than I am to replay a game. So I would need to get about 56 hours out of a similarly good game to get the same value from that book as I do from an $80 game, which I have many, many times that in games that I love more than any book that I've ever read, right? Now, another complaint people have had is, well, the game prices are going up, but games aren't getting better, they're getting worse. And I wholeheartedly disagree with that. In recent years, I've played many games that I would classify as masterpieces. These games like Elden Ring, Xenoblade 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Metaphor ReFantasio are amazing. And even recently, like when did it come out? Like a week ago with Expedition 33? I haven't beaten it. I'm only like 8 hours in, but the 8 hours I have played have been amazing. And then there's many games I haven't played, games like Baldur's Gate 3 that I have only ever heard good things about. It makes me think like, these games are just really good. The games coming out these days are just amazing. Now, while I'm personally fine with $80 games, I feel like that's also a spot that games have to like earn, right? Like a game like a WarioWare, while I do like WarioWare, I like the concept, I think it's fun, I would never pay $80 for it without drastic changes, right? Instead of like 100 micro games, you'd need like 1,000 or something, right? You'd need a ridiculous amount of content in there that these games just don't have, right? Just it's just an unrealistic amount of content for those games. So those games never really will hit that $80 price point in terms of the value I think they are. I also believe remasters and ports aren't worth $80 unless it's in the future you've got a game that was already worth that. Getting a remaster or a port with improvements, then maybe, right? Now, generally when you talk about remasters and ports, you also talk about remakes, but remakes are a lot more than both of those. So it's debatable based on the quality because some remakes are Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and some remakes are like the Final Fantasy VII remake that just looks spectacular. Though personally, I think for some of these remakes, the price can go even higher because I would pay literally anything for a proper HD 2D remake of Pokemon Black and White.